When was the last time you were on a date and the person you were on a date with asked you where you were going to be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What you think about that? Because if you out on a date with somebody for the first time or the second time, and they're not asking you what you expect to be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, chances are it's because they ass ain't expecting to be around you a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. So you need to start thinking about that. You need to start thinking about the questions folks ask you when you out on a date. They asking you long-term questions, they trying to be nosy, or they asking you short-term questions. If anybody asks you short-term questions, other than if you just got out of jail, you need to leave them alone. It needs to be more long-term if you're looking for long-term. All right, so here's my here's my dating tips, dating one-on-one here. Me being a single guy for a long time, had some pretty bad dates, and I had some really good dates. And I also talked to a lot of my lady friends, and they bounce ideas off me. So, rule number one, a dating one-on-one, is dress to impress. The first thing the first thing the person who you're on a date with does is see you from a distance. And based on their judgments from you from a distance, that's going to determine how the beginning of this date starts. And I understand that the world tells you people shouldn't judge you by appearance, but they judge you by appearance. If you come up on that date looking like a clown, when you sit down, chances are they're going to treat you like a clown. If you come up in there dressed like a hoe, you about to get treated like a hoe. You are setting the stage for the beginning of your date the moment you get out of your car and walk to the door. I've been on dates before where I seen a woman get out of the car and I knew before she came through the door of the restaurant, I was ready to get the check. Rule number two, a dating one-on-one. Show up early. Show up 5 minutes early. Give yourself time to go to the restroom. Fix your face. Smell your breath. Fix your clothes. Trust me, I used to live in the LA area. Sometimes it take you an hour to get somewhere. You don't look the way you looked when you walked out of your house and got in your car is not the way you look an hour later when you get out of the car and walk into that restaurant. Get there early. Fix yourself up. Be presentable. And give yourself a chance to relax, take a deep breath, and be able to present yourself the way you want to be presented. Another rule, very important. On the first date, don't nobody want to hear about your ex. I don't want to hear about your ex that you just broke up with. I don't want to hear about your ex from 10 years ago. I don't want to hear about your kids. I want to hear about the problems at your job. You don't want to hear about mine either. This is a date. We trying to get to know each other. But I don't want to know about what your day-to-day issues are. I'm not your therapist. You ain't my therapist. We should be getting to know each other. Have something to say. In this day and age with cell phones, everybody's got a cell phone now. Everybody's got access to the internet, whether it be at work, home, or on your phone, wherever. Look up the current news. Look up current events and have that to talk about. The reason why you want to talk about current events is because long term, which is what you should be on a date for, you want to understand what this person's views and opinions are on everyday things. See, oftentimes you going on a date and you get caught up in the physical stuff, and then you get physical too soon, and then you realize the person that you've been physical with is crazy as hell. But you could tell if they were crazy as hell if you would ask them some realistic questions the first date. Say, and don't pay attention to what they're wearing. You paid attention to what they were wearing when they walked up to you. You realized they weren't all that crazy. Now, you got to pay attention to what they say so you can determine if this is somebody you even want to be around. Because oftentimes, within that first date, if you ask the right questions, you can tell if they're crazy or not, if you got something in common, if you want to see them again, or if you never want to see them again. You can tell all these things if you ask the right questions. But you got to have something to talk about. The easiest thing to do is to ask people their opinions about current events. And don't be afraid to piss people off, because trust me, if he pisses you off on the first date, he'll piss your ass off on the fifth date. He'll piss you off 5 years from now. Just because you have an opinion on something doesn't mean your opinion is right. And also doesn't mean that everybody needs to hear your opinion. It's a good idea to temper your opinions. Because see, a lot of times people think because they have an opinion on something, it makes them seem smarter or makes them seem strong. But when you continuously bombard people with your opinions, whether they agree or not, it doesn't appear like it's a conversation. It appears more like it's a preaching session. It's a session of you standing on your soapbox and telling people who you are. And on this date, it should be a conversation, it should be back and forth. So you can give a small opinion, a brief opinion, and allow that person to give you an opinion back and then converse back and forth. Hopefully no arguments ensue, and hopefully you can learn to agree to disagree, because everybody's not going to believe what you believe. As a matter of fact, you don't want to date someone who believes exactly what you believe, because if that was the case, you should just date your damn self. People, it's not my job to impress you. It's not your job to impress me. It's our job to sit down and ask each other some interesting questions, have some laughs, learn about each other, and if it's a good match, we've impressed each other instead of it being forced. See, oftentimes we put these facades on, we put these masks on in any attempt to impress somebody. And over time, that facade goes away, the mask comes off, and you find that, like I said, you wasted time and you're not happy with the person, or they're not happy with you. No facades, no impressing. Listen, I'm going to wear something decent that's professional. I'm going to look good, not overly sexual, nothing like that. We're going to sit down and have a good conversation. I'm going to ask you questions about, your future, because my goal is that if this works out, you're going to be in my future. And you should ask me questions in the same fashion. I'm going to ask you things about politics and religion and kids and things like that. Because, again, in the long term, those are the issues that cause a lot of arguments. So you need to nip this in the bud right now. You need to find out how like-minded you are. And, again, you don't have to be a perfect match in terms of what you think, because you want somebody a little different to help you grow.